Also, concerns over President Biden's age are reaching a brand new level and fever pitch here, despite Democrats' efforts to argue that it's not an issue. A brand new New York Times Siena College poll finds that more than 6 in 10 voters believe President Biden is just too old to be an effective president. Let's bring in congressional reporter for The Hill, Mychael Schnell. Mychael, it's good to see you. This poll found that 61% of President Biden's voters from 2020 now say he's too old to be effective. 19% of those voters say that he was no longer even capable of handling the job. Mychael, those aren't numbers that can just be ignored and swept under the rug.
No, that's not a good sign for the Biden campaign. Those are not numbers, Markie, that they want to be seeing in polls, let alone right before Super Tuesday, which, as you guys laid out earlier, is a really crucial day when you talk about the 2024 presidential election and election years in general. Another key date that they don't want to see these numbers come out before, Markie, is Thursday's State of the Union address. President Biden is going to be making his way up to Capitol Hill on Thursday, delivering a speech before a joint session of Congress at around 9 p.m. A lot of eyeballs are going to be on the president that night to keep an eye on how he gets through the speech, what priorities he talks about, and if there's any heckling from his GOP opponents in that chamber. But it's also said to be that'll be the springboard into the 2024 presidential election. We are making our way through the primary season right now. As you mentioned, it's looking like we're headed for a rematch between President Biden and former President Trump. Biden's State of the Union address on Thursday is going to be a really key touch point and key date when you talk about his entire election overall.
A lot of eyeballs on not only what he says, but how he says it, right? I'm curious, Mychael, of those voters, the majority that I just listed off, the 61%, of those voters, actually, how many of them change their loyalties, though, come November? Or do they say, I'm still going to vote for him. I just have to trust that he has the right team and advisors in place to do maybe most of the decision making?
Yeah, and Markie, that's the key question right there, right? There can be some apprehension about the president's age and some concerns about, how he's changed over the years and whatnot, and how he'll be able to handle the job. But at the end of the day, if voters are looking at a ballot when it's between former President Trump and President Biden, the real question is going to be, will liberals and Democrats continue to rally around President Biden despite those concerns? Because A, they think that he's the better choice over former President Trump, and B, they're in favor of Democratic policies over Republican policies. This is why we see Democrats really hammering home a message about an issue like abortion, something that really played a key role in the 2022 midterm elections. We'll remember analysts had been expecting that red wave to take over the country, but that was blunted by better than expected Democratic performance, largely because the issue of abortion took center stage. Yeah. So I think we're going to see Democrats really lean into these liberal, ideas and things that are salient among voters. Immigration has been one of those this election season as well, to try to make the case to voters that, hey, you may have some concerns about Biden and he may not be your first choice of Democrats overall, but there's a lot on the line here. And if you want Democratic policies, you're going to need President Biden in the White House.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.